On today's episode of How It's Automated, Alclad Aluminum Sheets. Alclad Aluminum Sheets are thin, lightweight, and highly durable sheets that are mainly used for products that require high heat conduction or a high specific strength. They are the secret ingredient to plaid speed level belts. So, let's see how it's automated. The not-so-steamy sheets begin their process as the raw resource known as bauxite. It gets its name because the vein always is found in a box form underground. A miner building is used to tear the box open and drain it of its resources. The raw bauxite is ran along a noodling belt simply because noodle belts are fun, exclaimed the pioneer we were interviewing. Water is also pumped up from below to assist in separating the impurities from the minerals. The H2O and bauxite is mixed in and purified in a series of refinery buildings. This removes the solid silica, leaving what appears to be milk, but is known as alumina solution. We will get back to the silica. Coal is needed for the next step, so an ultra-efficient drilling miner is placed on the node. Once this building was placed and the miner turned on, no one dares step foot here as it is too dangerous and unpredictable. Those unlucky enough to fall off the platform are greeted with open claws from the adorable psychopaths. Fix-It does not recommend trying to pet them. The coal is used as a filter for the alumina solution in more refinery buildings, leaving little buckets of aluminum scrap. But where do the buckets come from? Apparently a $20 bill from a Fix-It agent is the answer. And that solves another mystery. A byproduct of this process is pure dihydrogen monoxide, which is routed back to be used in the first step. Remember, Fix-It does not waste. The aluminum scrap is then belted in a sine wave form across to the next step. But before we get to that, some silica is needed as well. The silica that was a byproduct of the first step isn't enough, so more silica must be sourced nearby. Here, quartz crystal is harvested and sent directly to a hoverboard to be transported back to the factory. Once the drone drops the raw quartz off, it is immediately processed in a series of constructors that pulverize it into a fine white purified silica powder. Look at all that silica. Also, do not attempt to pet the drones as well. The silica is then yeeted using another sine wave belt to keep it above the forest to its destination to meet up with the scrap buckets in a couple foundries. Inside each foundry building, the silica and aluminum scrap are exposed to some liquid industrial death metal playlists to raise its temperature to combine the two, creating pure aluminum ingots. To keep the ingots' mood in check, they are belted in this configuration as per Fix-It belting instruction booklet under Chapter 2, Subsection 6, Paragraph 9. There, I cited my source. The now rad and cool pure bars of aluminum are belted to the final processing stage with their all too familiar belting style. But before the process can continue though, copper is needed to merge with the aluminum. Just like the silica, the copper is sourced nearby. This area is safe enough, but nothing else around it is. We were advised to stay within the signs. The copper ore is baked in smelters until all that juicy copper metal is extracted. The smelters also form it into neatly stacked ingots, known as copper ingots. Then, just like before, a flyboy transports the copper to the final stage. The copper is then assembled with the aluminum in assembler buildings that assemble the final assembled product. The assemblers are laid out in such a manner so that all the outputs are facing the final belt. You know, for convenience. Now that the copper and aluminum ingots are squished together at the atomic level, they form an alloy of the two, known as Alclad Aluminum Sheets. What the heck? I said sheets. Sheets. Why are you bleeping me? Alclad Aluminum Sheets. You can go yourself, Mr. Editor. Now that the pioneers have the Alclad aluminum rectangular planes of metallic design, they are belted off to be prepared for shipment at a truck station. A truck is then loaded up with as many as it can carry to begin its journey to wherever the Alclad aluminum sheets are needed. There he goes. Have a safe trip, Mr. Tractor. And that is how Alclad aluminum sheets are automated. Building in the Red Forest can be quite dangerous, so to get around that, these pioneers built above it. You could say, they were doing it for the sheets and giggles. The suggestions coming in are absolutely amazing, so keep them coming. And if you like this series, be sure to yeet that like and subscribe buttons as they help out immensely. And as always, keep it efficient, pioneers.